So this is my UFC 183 preview for the main event, the return of Anderson the Spider Silva going up against, also returning, the return of Nick Diaz in the UFC. We haven't seen either of these fighters fight in over a year. Pretty much Anderson Silva, we already know what happened. He broke his leg, he checked the leg kick, his leg snapped in half, his tibia and fibia snapped in two pieces, and Chris Weidman is still your UFC undefeated middleweight champion of the world. And prior to that fight, July 4th weekend of 2013, Anderson Silva lost for the first time in the UFC against Chris Weidman. A lot of people thought it was controversial. A lot of showboating by Anderson Silva, mainly in his tactics, usually in his past, and many of his fights actually. But him faking being like he's about to faint, and then literally Chris Weidman knocking him out to win the middleweight championship of the world. Nick Diaz has actually lost his last two fights, both against Carlos Condit, and then Carlos Condit got injured. Can't remember actually what happened, but it ended up being Nick Diaz ended up getting a title shot after losing to Carlos Condit, and it was all weird, and he faced George St. Pierre and lost. So Nick Diaz hasn't fought in the UFC in what, almost 2 years now. He fought February of 2013 or March of 2013, and then before that he fought February 2012. So not much fights under Nick Diaz's belt in the UFC and in the past 3 years. And Anderson Silva, obviously the elder of the two, 39 years old, had a broken leg, has lost 2 times now consecutively in the UFC, which is unheard of. If you said this 2 years ago that Anderson Silva was going to lose twice in a row, break his leg, and probably never return. A lot of people thought Anderson Silva wasn't going to return in the UFC. He said he was pretty much going to retire after this, but that wasn't the case. When he started healing up, started feeling better, started training camp, he's all good to go. You saw a lot of everyone's so worried about his leg. Is his leg gonna hold up? Is his leg gonna break again? I think Anderson Silva's leg is just perfectly fine. It's all healed. It's obviously not gonna be 100%, but it's Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I think he will not just beat Nick Diaz. I think he will destroy Nick Diaz. I think the first round will be a lot of taunting between each other, but I think Anderson Silva is going to come out and destroy Nick Diaz. I don't think Nick Diaz has a chance. I know Nick Diaz is a very unorthodox fighter, unpredictable, and but neither of these fighters have fought in over a year. Nick Diaz, I don't know, God knows why he hasn't fought, because he left the UFC to come back to the UFC, and obviously you know why Anderson Silva hasn't fought. But I think this will be a showcase of why Anderson Silva is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think Anderson Silva will destroy Nick Diaz in the second round via TKO. And if he wins this fight, then he got a title shot. Like Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva 3. How are you not going to pay for that pay-per-view fight? But Anderson Silva to beat Nick Diaz and face Chris Weidman probably after the Vitor Belfort fight against Weidman in February. So maybe July 4th weekend, maybe in August, if those two are all healthy, they could fight then. So there you have it, Anderson Silva to win by second round TKO.